If someone attacks me, can I kill them?
I'm I'm afraid to answer this question.
Yeah, I've covered this one in class before, and I was like, here's the thing. You've got to, if someone attacks you, you have to be of reasonable belief that your life is in danger.
Right, that's basically the rule. I mean, when it comes to self-defense, you're allowed to defend yourself when and to the extent necessary to protect yourself, and that even actually extends to property and other persons that you're protecting. But to use lethal force, you have to be in fear of lethal force yourself. And so, again, to the manner and means and extent necessary only to neutralize the threat.
Yeah. Um, I do this as unofficially, but I often say it's like, here's the thing. If you're a 6 foot tall guy and you're 200 pounds
Mm.
and you're being attacked by a 5 foot tall, 100-pound woman, your defense for in serious threat of your life is not as valid as the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah, the circumstances. I mean, you actually put yourself in the shoes of the defender. I mean, it's one of the few times that you do that in the law, where you put yourself in the shoes of the defendant, the accused, and you think, what would a reasonable person under the same circumstances have thought or felt? And
Yeah.
that's how you determine.
Okay. If I pull a gun out in a public space, can I get charged with something?
Yeah, that's a great question in Texas right now, because we have the castle doctrine that allows you to open carry almost anywhere. Well, different issue, but you have the ability to carry a gun on your person, your house, your car, even your workspace, I believe. And that's been liberalized in terms of your workspace recently. But then we also have the ability to open carry. I believe
Yeah.
that you still have to have the right permitting for it. But so there's these weird competing tensions. You have your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, but there are statutes. So, for example, it is considered aggravated assault of a deadly weapon by display if you were to just show a gun to another person. That's not necessarily tied to a mental state, so you don't have to be uh, intending to intimidate them, for example. So let's say that you're driving down the road, someone's acting pretty silly in front of you, and they're threatening you with the way that they're driving. You pull out your gun and you hold it up in the window to show, hey, I'm packing, and if you keep this up, I'm going to defend myself. They take that as a threat. You may have just committed a second-degree felony, even though you legally have the weapon, legally have it in your car. Maybe you even have the right to open carry. So lots of different things, levels that are at play.
Okay. Um, all right. Let's see here. All right. This one is a interesting one, and I don't know if this has actually been decided on at a nat or federal level. Is it a hate crime to misgender someone?
So meaning they identify as A and you call them B?
Yes.
Um, so there's some interesting conversations that are happening within that question. I think the short answer is no. Um, the way that we refer to one another just in casual conversation, um, I think that the question that they're trying to ask is probably more involved than this one. But
Yeah.
as I understood it, just if I'm referring to you and I refer to you in the feminine, um, there's it may be personally insulting, but it doesn't rise to the level of a crime or a hate crime. Um, I'm trying to think of a context in when maybe it could be, and it may be that what the person is asking is, can my right to be identified as whatever gender I see myself as be enforced through criminal law? Um,
Yeah.
and, and I don't think so. I don't think that we're there.
I know there was a case not too long ago of a teacher refused to. There was a biologically female student. I'm sorry, a biologically male student who identified as female, and the teacher insisted on calling them by their original name and referring to them by their original gender throughout the school year. And the school board, I want to say this was somewhere on the northwest coast, fired him and then tried to subject him to a fine over that.
I got you.
Margaret, stop. Maggie, no pushing chairs right now, baby.
That's great. No, I can see. I believe that a school district teacher administrator is entitled to rely upon the legal name that someone has, and so until the point that the legal name is changed, I think that they have the obligation, if not option, of referring to them that way. So it's an interesting question, but I don't think that it's a criminal matter yet. Now, if they were fining someone, a fine is a deprivation of a person's property, so life, liberty, or property, which is at least quasi-criminal. And so in that particular state, it sounds like something that they could have on the books in some sort of criminal context.
Okay. That looks to be actually we have one last question.
Okay.
And I think we kind of answered this before, but this one's a little more specific. So if you know that someone killed someone and you're their lawyer, do you just try to get them less time?
Yeah, that's similar to the question asked before, not necessarily the same question. My obligation is going to relate to what my client's desire is. So if my client decides that they want to have a trial and they want to contest the issue of guilt or innocence, and they want, to try to, avoid any sort of criminal liability, then, it's their right to ask for a trial, and I'm going to do the best that I can with all the evidence that's there and available. I'm going to investigate the crime fully. I'm going to do everything that I can in order to try to defend them and keep them from being found guilty. But most likely, I'm going to be having a conversation with them at the same time, which may be a difficult conversation, which is, if all the evidence is there, they can prove their case, and the punishment is going to be much worse if you're found guilty than if you take a plea bargain, then it's probably in your best interest to take a plea, but it is your choice at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay.